Okay, you all have a good meeting. Take care.
Thank you, Pablo. I'm sorry, I got a work call right before this meeting, so I'm a little behind. I'm just pulling up the agenda so I can try to take minutes at the same time so I don't forget anything for. I do not believe the December minutes went out though, did they? Leona, did you get them?
I don't have any recollection of getting them. I can check. If
Yeah,
they're
'cause,
in
I
my
mean,
email.
I don't think, I know I submitted them a little bit late because I was not in New York when I took them. So there may have been some confusion. Maybe we'll just do this old school. Pen and paper never hurt anybody.
I don't see them, but there's no guarantee that I haven't deleted them from my email because my storage is on its last legs.
Yeah. Either case, I think it's probably better. I gotta check. Well, you and I are here, so we have a quorum, but I think it may be better to wait on voting on them. If you accidentally deleted them, you haven't had a chance to review them. So I think it might be, we'll just
Are they
vote.
on the board's website?
I did not check.
Are you talking about the draft of the December 28th minutes?
Yes.
I actually have a copy of those, funnily enough.
Oh, they did go out.
Yes, they went. Yes, they did go out.
Okay. You know, when you're running late is when everything decides it's going to take as long as possible to do anything. So like Word is still trying to open on my laptop. This will be fun. We'll give folks just another minute or so. So, that didn't work so well. Okay, 1 second, guys. All right, I do not want my tech issues to hold up the entire meeting. I do want to get started. Thank you all for joining us this evening, especially on a off schedule meeting because of the holidays in both January and February. The third Monday are holidays, so we're meeting somewhere in the middle. Not a super packed agenda for tonight, but do we have, I think I recognize most names. Is there anyone new here who would like to introduce themselves?
My name is Boris Regalado. I'm a director for Beacon 8.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Eleanor Gagan. I'm from the Cajun Heights Community Center, and I had a little hiatus in attending the meetings, but I have been to Community Board 8 meetings before.
Well, welcome back. We're always happy to have, everyone. Okay. Anyone else? I should probably. My name is Julia Gomez. I'm the director. Oh gosh, I really need to turn work off. I am the chair of the youth committee. We usually meet on the third Monday of the month, but as I said, with the holidays, we're meeting in between. I kind of want to use this to touch base, make sure we're on the same page and everything. The end of the year, our December meeting was off schedule, no January. So I want to just make sure nothing has gotten lost off of our priorities. I also want to check in with this group because I think, as some of you know, we've had some staff changes in the board office. So if there's anything that was in process, I'll need to circle back with Pablo now to make sure that it hasn't gotten lost in the shuffle. Don't have a large chairs report. Just, a reminder, I can just invite people to come speak. I would like them to be more relevant and helpful for you than me kind of guessing. So if you have individuals you would like to come present to us, organizations that you want me to ask if they'll come and give us a brief presentation, or even types of organizations, please feel free to either email me directly or the board office. We will reach out to somebody. I don't mind having presentations here. I think that's a great use of this space. I just don't want to have presentations just to have presentations. I'm going to apologize in advance. My cat is playing with a tissue box very close to my phone. I'm hoping she'll stay over there, but if my phone timbers, that's what happened. In addition, as I said, Kira, our district manager, has moved on. She is now working for the Bronx Borough President. While we are very excited for her, it does leave a pretty big hole in our staffing, as well as Tanya, who worked for the office, has moved on as well. So I'm going to ask you all to keep me honest. If there was anything I was supposed to follow up on, anything I said, I got that. Please feel free to nudge me. I will never be offended. And I will probably thank you profusely because I might have forgotten. That's really all I have. For anyone who isn't here, I have an agenda, but it's a little more of a loose thing. So if anyone has questions about anything I said, or if anything I said reminded them of anything that we should be talking about, please feel free to chime in now. We're okay? All right. So I see that Sergio has joined us. I know Leona's here. I don't know if Leona, you had a chance to at least review the minutes.
Yeah, I took a look at them. Also, while you're talking, it just reminded me, I have a Post-it on my wall that says, "Tell Juliet to tell community centers about scholarship." At the full board meeting in January, Joy Knight mentioned a scholarship that Delta Sigma Theta is offering to Bronx students. I don't know if you guys, the heads of the community centers, are aware of it. I can put the email this is all in the full board meetings from January. But it's a scholarship program for Bronx students. They have to be a student in the 5 boroughs with over an 80% average and planning to attend a 4-year college or university in the fall. And you need 2 letters of recommendations and a personal essay postmarked by February 25th. So the email is scholarship@dstbx.org.
I will try to make sure everything gets into the minutes so that the minutes go out this week so that you guys can have that in front of you if you have anyone you would like to put forward for that. Thank you. Anything else? So we do need to start talking about budget priorities for the upcoming year. The way budget works, if you haven't gone on this particular roller coaster with me recently, is we are planning for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. We are in July, we'll enter 23-24, so we're talking about next July. The way this process works is that each committee makes requests of appropriate city agency. The request should be tied to a specific city agency. For us, that's usually DYCD. And the requests are either capital or expense. Capital is for like physical projects, buildings, repairing city steps, parks, those kinds of things. Expenses for like programs, projects that we would like to see funded. We had a representative from DYCD here at our November meeting. So he reminded us that DYCD does not have a capital budget. We can't ask for a new center to be built, but we can ask that they provide additional funding to programs that already exist. We can ask that they fund additional programs. These are our requests. Once we get our requests together, I will send them to the board. The board compiles a master list of all of our requests. The chairs then have a lively debate about how to rank those requests, like what the board feels are our top 10, our top 20, what have you. I will say, for example, some of our requests from last year, and I sorry, I should have been more prepared for an example. It was like, they think this is a good idea, but there isn't money for it right now. Our request, I know for SYEP, they actually already had that in motion. We didn't know it, it wasn't released yet. So what we were asking for, they were already doing. And so, you know, expanding it and trying to make sure, get more money to pay, to give the kids more money is all in the works. And that's something they're already doing. Alexander from DYCD did give us, if my computer will cooperate, some budget priorities that, you know, they're asking for our support in. We are not obligated to support them, but if it makes sense for us, we can add those to our requests for this year. So the things I have in the minutes from November are basically maintaining or increasing the SYEP budget, making sure that those funds, if there are cuts this year, are not touched, or, you know, actually we'd like more money. They would like us to support more money. And they said specifically after school programs that there are some sites that have multiple programs, and then we kind of have spaces where there aren't a ton. And then I only have the, again, that they don't have a capital budget. So those are the two things that they ask that we support. If, you know, we feel that that makes sense for us, I'm happy to throw those on our list. I'm going to stop talking and open it up now to the floor to see if you guys have questions about what I said, if you have ideas for things you'd like us to support. Fair warning, I can only see 3 or 4 people at a time, so bear with me, please. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Question.
Yes.
So this money could be used for like a capital project, like a cleanup type project, like community cleanup, or like something along that range project, or it has to be something different.
So we can't, DYCD doesn't have a capital budget, so we can't ask DYCD for that. If we wanted to talk to parks and see if they would support us sponsoring or asking for street cleanup events in certain areas, I could then talk to the parks chair about putting a joint request forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I will say we also, most of the time, if we put a joint request forward, it is with education, libraries, and cultural affairs. That tends to be where there's the most overlap, but we're by no means bound to that. We can put forward, like I can ask the chair of economic development to support an SYEP request. Any other questions? Thoughts on things we should support? Does it seem like what Alexandra was asking us does that seem to make sense for us about, well, let's take them one at a time. Does anyone have any thoughts or objections to putting in a request to sustain, but ideally expand SYEP for the next fiscal year?
Sounds great.
What about the after-school programs? Do we feel that for us, it makes sense to ask for more or more even distribution? Or do we feel like we're saturated or? No opinion?
No, I feel like a lot of the after schools do need, well, maybe not after schools, but I know as far as like being in community centers and having after schools in the center, we kind of compete against the school. So we don't get a lot of like marketing, as you say, like no one knows we exist because everyone goes to school and gets one-stop shopping. So just to either help us get programming that's different from the school, or either help us combine with the school to make sure we're not doing the same things, or you can allocate for all the kids who may not fit in that school type of program. So I don't know. That's the one thing really top of my head at the moment.
Okay, let me sit with how to make that a budget request. Like, I don't know if they have a marketing budget or if they can, trying to think of, I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase that, if there are thoughts.
Maybe we could look at it in the sense of even spread of allocation of resources for the programs.
Okay. We can do that.
I don't know if we mentioned, I feel like it was a couple months ago we talked about job training or placement for like the young adults that fit in between like high school, college level. Like they don't have full-time jobs, but they even don't have a career path. Like it's like a little bit above SYP, but like job placement for places that maybe SYP normally doesn't place. Like not just community centers, but other programs that say like maybe working with not a council member, but someone in like the actual like community board, like those type of jobs where people might not even know there's access to or training for. Like train for young adults to do things like that. Not just work with the kids, but work in the community boards or, higher up in the centers.
Yeah, we can ask, I'll look at DYCD and see, they usually have like a master list of the programs they have and figure out if it's something that I should say like an expansion into CBA or a, expansion of the current programs. So what I'm gonna do, just so you know, I'm taking some of my notes. I'm gonna try to put some, I don't think we have to have them ready until April, so I'll try to put some proposed requests together for the next meeting for you guys to look at in advance. And this way, if I'm misremembering anything or if I jotted it down wrong, we have a chance to still fine tune it before we have to submit. Any other thoughts on budget priorities? Okay, and now I realize that I don't think I ever asked about like if we feel comfortable approving the minutes or if we'd like to hold off until the next meeting. I don't think we formally made a decision either way. I'm a little out of it today.
Is there a reason?
I'm sorry?
Is there a reason we cannot vote on them?
There was some, I wasn't sure they had gone out and Leona hadn't seen them initially, so I wanted to just make sure she was comfortable.
I scanned them, yeah. I found, they're on the website. So they're publicly available.
Okay.
I read them. They look good.
Any discussion of the minutes? Any proposed amendments to the minutes? Any opposition to passing said minutes? Hearing none, I will say the December 2022 minutes are passed. Thank you for following me in my mind. Anything, are we good with budget? Are we good with moving on to new business? All right.
Yes.
For the new business, I actually don't think I have any new business, my stuff. Jody, you had a question?
Yes, actually, I have new business. Thanks for calling on me. Good evening, everybody. It is almost spring. I know it feels like it today, but I just wanted to update the committee that the stewards of Henry Hudson Park, which I co-lead, and the Friends of Spuyten Duyvil, which is my own community network, we're offering community service opportunities. We've got events during the winter recess for adults and youth of all ages and abilities. So if any schools contact you about community service events, the office knows how to get in touch with me. My email is spuytendyvilny@gmail.com. But I just thought that I was like, I never alerted the committee that we're doing this. So they can get community service for college, middle school, high school. We're one of the approved groups in the New York City Parks Department that offers these opportunities.
Okay. If you want, you can also, if you want to send the board office a little paragraph for us, I'll ask them to put it on the Facebook page and distribute it through our network so we can get the word out.
Thanks. I've been trying to give Pavlos a breather since he's by himself. But thank you for the offer.
Yeah, it may take a little while for us to get there, but if there's also, Pablo and I work very well together. If I can post it or send it out with the minutes or something, I'm happy to do that as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
Any other new business? Okay. Seeing none, I will move on to old business. I know that we had talked, I believe it was in December, not November, about the Comeback Kid Award. I will say that Pablo was reviewing it to make sure the information is still accurate. I believe there is a almost final draft. I have to circle back with him. My hope is that when these minutes go out, so will that award application. So hopefully by the end of the week, with the hope of having a deadline of before our April meeting so that we can vote. I believe they're normally given out in June or July so that we line up with all of the Irvin Latimer Awards and all the most valuable merchants. All the awards are given at the same time. So I know we talked about refining the content of it for the following year. So once I think this year's application goes out and we know where that stands, we can also either in this space or subcommittee or anything like that, look into fine tuning what's in there and what, how we collect this information. Again, I think with the vacancies, our dream of an online form might be a little delayed. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, just a little delayed. Although if we had an online form, it would probably make the office's life much easier right now, but we'll get there. I have not heard anything on the Yankee Award yet, but again, sometimes they just kind of pop up and say, here it is. Any other old business? Any other miscellaneous business that doesn't fit neatly into one of these categories that I put on the agenda, or thoughts that people want to share?
I'm sorry. Is there any way we can email the exact criteria for the comeback to the award again?
It should be with the application, what the criteria is. I mean, it is purposely broad and a little vague in that, like, we want it to be someone who's overcome something. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, I think that's probably every kid that we know. But we also think it's in my mind, it's intended also for, like, give them a chance to start working on a resume and get those skills together in advance of when they are going to need to submit one. Get used to asking people for letters of recommendation. Be thoughtful about who you ask. Don't ask someone you just met. Try to, getting them to practice those skills. But the exact criteria, I believe, is like the first paragraph of the application.
Has the application been sent out yet?
No, it's gonna go out with the minutes and everything when these go out. Like, Pablo had sent me a draft, and I think Kira noticed some small things. I think they might have been grammatical or something, I'm not sure. So she said to hold off. So I just need to remind them that it's time to send it out.
Because you mentioned resumes, and I was wondering, like, maybe it could come with like a how to make a resume sort of thing. I don't really know if that's feasible, if it's too late, but in my experience, a lot of people don't know how to do that.
I'll look into it. I'm not sure, like, if it's something, maybe we can just add like a final page that's like resume tips or something. If we can't change it.
Yeah,
Again,
I think that's all it has to be.
Mhm.
Or like some websites that include resume templates.
I'm writing this down before I forget. Also, the board office will be collecting the resumes so that I will try to review them as they come in, so that if they are incomplete, we can get them back to you guys so that you can follow up, or if there's a corrupted file, the more time we have to do that. We try very hard. I think we have traditionally given like 5-ish is our target. I think it's the same with the Yankee Award and everything else, but I do believe it's at our discretion how many we give. Unfortunately, there's not like a monetary prize or like a gift that goes with it, so we can be at least generous with our acknowledgements. Any other new, old business thoughts? Something to be shared with the group? All right, in that case, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So again,
All right, as always, thank you all for your time. I really appreciate you taking part of your evening to spend with us. I'll be the last one on if there's like individual questions. But otherwise, have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Good night.
thank you. Enjoy.
Night.
Good night.